Hey folks, if I told you your taxes could change dramatically in the next few months, more years maybe, would you be ready for that? Right now, it's full on press, tax season in my office. And that guy in the executive office had a tax plan that could have a big impact on individuals and businesses across the country. But what's in the plan? How it could affect you? I want to break down what the key proposals on the 2025 tax plan are, and then explain what others have said about it, the potential impact, and discuss what these changes could mean for you and me. Plus, I'll share some personal thoughts along the way to help you know how I make sense of it all. So the tax plan has three primary goals as I see it. Economic growth, to enhance U.S. competitiveness internationally, and to provide tax relief to individuals and businesses. Now, that might look good on paper or sound like a good soundbite, but as always, the devil is in the details, right? So let's start with the first major proposal. One of the biggest proposals is the permanent extension of the individual tax cuts past December 22nd, 2017, the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. Now, those are all set to expire 12/31, but they want to provide extended relief for individuals by extending it. But the long-term impact of keeping that lower on earnings could lead to increased federal deficits over time. I think this is a great move for people trying to plan their finances, but I can't help but wonder how long this can go on and how long we're going to pay for it down the road. What do you think? Is it worth it, or is that kind of risky? Another major proposal is reducing the corporate rate from 21 to 15%. Now, we are already at a pretty competitive rate internationally, and you can take a look at the infographic. But they want to increase domestic investment. Some critics say cutting the corporate tax rate too much could lead to significant revenue losses for the government. So I get the idea, free up businesses to have more money to invest in more jobs, and then their businesses create more money. But what could fewer tax dollars to the government mean for kids in school or public services or roads or bridges? If they collect fewer dollars, how are they going to make up for that? What kind of cuts are they going to have to make, and where will they make them first? Roads, healthcare? It seems like a trade-off that could help in one area and then hurt in another. The plan also proposes eliminating certain taxes on tips, earnings, and Social Security benefits. And I heard this is probably pretty good for seniors or workers in the service industries. But some people have noted this would increase take-home pay, but removing these taxes could shrink the pool of income that comes in from taxes. And programs like Medicare and Social Security also suffer because less income tax is paid on those. So the take-home pay could be great, but it would also reduce the benchmarks to determine eligibility for government programs, potentially creating challenges for families who's navigating really tough systems and relying on financial and medical support. So addressing those scenarios in the proposal will be essential to ensure that there's no unintended harm that comes to families with unique needs. But it feels like, for me, one of those changes that sounds great in the short term, but it could really have some unintended consequences down the line. Kind of like robbing Peter to pay Paul. And then those people in higher income tax states like New York and California, the repeal of the $10,000 cap on state and local taxes sounds like a game changer. This would reduce tax burdens for people. They could itemize their deductions again. But here's where it gets tricky. Some people have suggested that it might primarily benefit higher income individuals and could even widen this income inequality gap that we've got. This is one of those changes that's likely to spark debates. So I can see how it can help some middle-income families in high-income tax states, but it's hard to ignore the criticism that it might just be another break for the wealthy. What do you think? And then, to offset revenue losses from these tax cuts, the plan proposes imposing tariffs on all these imports. So the goal here is to increase domestic revenues. But some economists warn that these tariffs could lead to higher consumer prices and potential trade conflicts. And I gotta say, this one worries me. Tariffs often get passed down to us as consumers, which would mean higher prices on stuff like groceries and day-to-day living expenses. And since inflation is a topic that we're all familiar with at the checkout line, is this really the best move? Finally, the plan takes aim at wealthy individuals and corporations by eliminating tax on sports team owners and closing tax loopholes like the carried interest provision. Supporters say this push is a push towards fairness in the tax code. However, there's skepticism that these measures will face significant resistance from powerful interest groups. And since I'm not one of them, I don't see any problem with targeting the wealthiest Americans if it's done right. And this could really help level the playing field, but the question is, will it actually get passed? Or will it simply get watered down as it passes through Congress, like everything else? Now let's zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture. Critics of the 2025 tax plan are warning that it could add to our insanely obese national debt over the next decade, like to the tune of a staggering 7.5 trillion with a T. The debate here comes down to economic growth versus fiscal responsibility. Can we really afford to take on this kind of debt? Or the growth from these tax cuts, is it going to pay for it? I'm pretty skeptical. Historically, tax cuts don't really pay for themselves. I think we need to take some hard questions about what this level of debt could really mean to our kids and grandkids. So there you have it, a breakdown of the key proposals in the president's 2025 plan. From individual tax cuts to corporate rates to SALT deductions to tariffs, there's a lot to unpack. These changes aim to stimulate economic growth and provide relief, and potential trade-offs, they're there, can't be ignored. What do you think about these proposals? Are you for them? Are you against them? Somewhere in between? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you found this helpful, give it a like, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe for more comments like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.